lesson. I have to go through the hard times in order to come. I am being really extra with all these faces. Welcome to another weekly vlog. Today's problem is I did not go to the store to get chips or crackers for my dip, and I'm a little I'm not ratchet. I rebuke that thought. But I had a little moment where apparently I had carrots in the fridge that I forgot about. And I was like, I don't know if carrots expire, but the date was like way past due, sis. And couldn't use those for the dip. Did I show y'all the dip? Did I just show y'all the dip? I don't know. Anyway, but I just bought some cucumbers, so I'm gonna cut those up and use those for my dip. And then I guess, you know, we can sit down on the couch and have a talk, because boy, do I have some things to tell you. On this abstinence journey, I knew that it wouldn't be easy from the beginning. I didn't really know what that entailed, but coming from like living in the world to getting to a place where it's like, okay, God, I'm giving up sex, now what? And then going from that to like wilderness to like not doing anything, not going any, like it's been a journey. And I think the most important thing that should be happening if you are abstinent is you being consistent and encouraging yourself, getting encouragement from God to like grow in your relationship, like building that relationship with God. Because if not, and you become stagnant, you sort of like kind of allow the enemy to come in like bits and pieces, or like small things that you really think aren't important, but like the small conversations or the stuff that you watch or whatever can like sort of open the door, and who you're listening to can open that door if you fall off the bandwagon of Jesus. To be honest, that was going on. I got to a point where I just was like kind of discouraged in general. I know in like past videos I've talked about it, but sort of maybe I haven't shared that, I don't know, but been discouraged in like where I am and where I want to be because of my lack of discipline. And that's something that I really want to work on. But being disciplined is something that you have to just do. It's not like I'm waiting for the moment where I'm disciplined. Like, no, like you have to work towards it. You have to build yourself up to that. You have to put in the time, the effort, the energy it takes to become disciplined. And if you're not doing that, you're not going to be disciplined, right? There are things that I was being told, or like opinions that people thought were facts, or like sayings like, you know, on this abstinence journey, a lot of people don't understand why you would do that. And so it's a lot of hearing like, I mean, you got to get yours, or, you know, everybody like you gotta get off somehow, or what are you gonna wait until you're old and whatever, or what else would people be saying? Because I can't. It's basically being abstinent is stupid, pretty much. It's not an easy walk. A lot of times, yeah, you do feel lonely, but filling your loneliness with people that aren't supposed to be in your life, who have their own issues that they need to work on, and you have your own issues, and now y'all doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing. And it's just too much. It's too much. All the stuff is too much. And I feel like it's important to set boundaries with people, like stand on what you believe, stand on what you say. You know, this is what the word says about abstinence, or respecting your body. It's God's body. We're respecting God's body by not having selfish ambition or being prideful or sexual immorality or whatever we gave up to grow in our relationship with God. We need to stand on that. And I have been struggling with that. Boundaries are important. Discipline, boundaries. Discipline, boundaries. Discipline, boundaries. I don't want this video to be a mess. So I'm trying to like keep it short. But I have been struggling because I did not know how many boundaries it took to stay on the path. If that makes sense. This is like therapy. I feel like it stems from childhood because most of my childhood was me having to be quiet. No, I feel like in school I was always the jokester. I was always the loud one. I had the funniest laugh. I told all the jokes, you know. I mean, until I got older, high school hit, and I was just like, I'm gonna just keep my friends and just be quiet. But growing up, I mean, and I don't know if any of my family's gonna watch this, but I was just having a conversation earlier with my aunt, and we were talking about how sometimes adults, they don't realize the impact that their words have on children. Certain things, I know there are a lot of things, and I'm sure there are people who can relate. There are a lot of things that I was told and had to endure as a kid that I can remember to this day. Certain things that were said to me, done to me, I remember. And I don't think that, I don't know. I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't want to say it's a generational thing. I don't like when people do that. So I don't want to be the one to do that. But I feel like that might be the case. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like the older generations, maybe because they had to endure certain things, that they felt like it was only right to, you know, if I didn't like something that my kid did, I handled it the way that I felt best. And if that way was, you know, degrading or, you know, mean at the time, you know, I'll apologize later, but like, I want them to stop doing it right now. It could negatively affect your child. And I feel like that's why boundaries is hard to set when you go through a childhood like that, where you go through a childhood where you have been picked apart or, you know, told to be less than instead of encouraged to be everything that you are. So I guess speaking for myself now as an adult, it's like everybody is not your friend. the Bible talks about being equally yoked, and being equally yoked is not just for relationships, it's for friendships, it's for all the things. And I feel like on this abstinence journey, it's really important to have friends who are on that journey with you, who understand why you made the decision, who respect it, who are on the same path as you. And when you find, or when that person finds you, your mate, I think it's important for them to be, I mean, I feel like there's no other choice but for y'all to be, like, because what are we doing if we're not equally yoked? That's the struggle that I'm having. Because it's like, I feel like it's always almost not quite there. But it's never like equal. And maybe I need to like figure out exactly what that looks like, because I don't feel like I've had a good example. But at this point, if I'm being honest, I have in the past fallen to sexual sin, and I have repented, and honestly have I feel like falling short opens your eyes to like, why did I do that? It wasn't even giving. God is not happy with me. I do not want to break God's heart. I don't want to break my own heart. I don't want to be in a stupid situation. I don't want to make a stupid mistake. And that is the point where I'm at right now. And I feel like the only way to stay true to the journey is to turn quickly if you are ever in that situation where you're questioning doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. That could be sex, that could be drugs, that could be getting angry, that could be being prideful, that could be any number of things. But the word says to run, and I'm just gonna find it. I'm gonna just find it. It's fine, friend. I'm gonna just find it. Colossians 3:2 says, fix your thoughts on things above. And then it mentions putting to death your sin, putting to death the sinful and earthly things within us. 1 Corinthians 10, I'm going to start at 12. Read with me. It says, if you think you are standing strong, be careful not to fall. The temptations in your life are no different from what others experience. And God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, he will show you a way out so that you can endure. So my dear friends, flee from worship of idols. Basically, whatever you put over God. So like, whenever you think like you can do something, oh, I can repent later or whatever, that to me would be considered an idol, because God is the only one who should be put on a pedestal like that. So if you are having any thoughts of going against God, or thoughts that God would not agree with or whatever, that is an idol. So flee from the worship of idols. And then I went down, and it said, I went down to 21. It says, you cannot drink from the cup of the Lord and from the cup of demons too. You cannot eat you cannot eat at the Lord's table and at the table of demons too. So you can't be in the world and then also turn around and say, I want what God wants for me. Or, I'm a Christian, but you're listening to music that you shouldn't be listening to. I feel like, especially if other Christians are bringing to your attention, like, hey, like Doja Cat, for example, hey, don't watch that music video, or, have you seen what she's been doing lately? I don't think we should be associating ourselves with her. And you choose to do it anyway. That's like, you can't say, oh, I love the Lord, but your life bears no fruit. You know what I mean? And so, anyway, I'm going to keep reading. And then it says, 23 says, you say, I'm allowed to do anything, but not everything is good for you. You say, I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is beneficial. Don't be concerned for your own good, but for the good of others. Because we're supposed to be examples, good examples of, or good representatives of Christ. And so if we're out doing whatever we want to do, saying I could do anything or whatever, or like coming into agreement with people who say, oh, I could do anything, or, you know, it's not that deep, or, you know, what have I been told recently? Everything's not spiritual. You know, just saying like things aren't that deep when it really is. I personally believe everything is spiritual. And if you are in denial of that, you are liable to fall and fall again, because everything is that deep. To your emotions, to the things that happen, to it's just everything. Everything to me is just, it's either God or it's not. I haven't always thought that way, but I feel like it's really important to think that way. That way, if you ever feel like any moments where, like, dang, I really wish that I could, like, not everything doesn't have to be that deep. I kind of remind myself that it is, because when I sin, most of the time I feel convicted about it. And I feel like that's how I know, that's my confirmation. Like, okay, well, yeah, it is spiritual, because I wouldn't be feeling this way if I'm not connected to God. Like when you connect yourself to God, I just feel like I don't know. It's just, I can't explain it. But anyway, being a Christian also requires you to give yourself grace and to ask for forgiveness, to repent, and to, you know, receive God. Because God is not always like, I don't feel like he's that type of God. I'm pretty sure he's not that type of God. And, you know, we all fall short. We are all humans. We can make mistakes. But the problem will come in if you are not consistent in talking to God and holding yourself accountable. I think too, like, this is kind of encouraging me to, like, because I feel like I've been mentally going back and forth, like, should I cut this person off? Should I not cut this person off? And relationships are important, but the right relationships are necessary. So if you have somebody in your life that you are in relationship with, that you have tried to communicate with, and it feels like the communication is off, there has to be a point where you realize maybe taking yourself out of the equation would solve the problem. If you have prayed and confirmed with God, like, is this person for me? Is this person not for me? And you find yourself in a cycle, get off the ride. Because it is not worth your peace of mind. If the people that you choose as your friends, as your partners, as your whatever, if they are not but if they are not helping you get to the place where you need to be, or if you're not seeing growth with them in your lives, I feel like it's time to evaluate the motivation behind keeping them there. Because if there's anything that I have learned over these past couple years, is you could be friends with somebody for years. Being in a ship for a long period of time does not guarantee that they will be there when you get to your destination on this cruise of life. And sometimes you need to either put them on the dinghy or get your butt on the dinghy yourself and get off the ship. Because just because you have been friends with somebody for a long time does not mean that you need to stay in it. But I feel like, because I mean, I've been there, like, the appeal to keeping this person around is because we have history. But it's never a bad thing to start over, to start fresh. And that's not to say you can't start fresh with that same person, but maybe 4 out of 10 would not recommend going back to this restaurant. I would not recommend going back to that restaurant. Because I mean, like, I was friends with this one person, and I hope that this is not obvious, because we didn't end on good terms. But because years have passed, I sort of have to, like, live with the ending and forgive myself, forgive them, and let it go. And I have done that. But yeah, I was friends with this person for like 10 plus, and realized the last maybe couple years of it, this person does not like me. This person that I thought, this is my bestie, you know, I felt like I'm going to this person, telling them what's going on with me, and I'm not really getting what I need from them. Not that I needed anything, but like a friendship. Like, I needed a friendship, and I feel like I was just there, and there was like nothing. I didn't really feel connected. Looking back, it wasn't like a connection. It was like, we've been friends for years, and that's the reason why we're connected. And so when things got bad, it was like, okay, like, what is going on? What did I miss? And it never clicked for me until I saw how they interacted with other people that they liked more. It seemed like they liked them more because they treated them better. And it was like, wow, like, this person treats me like they can't stand me. And that's one thing I think I like told myself, like, I will never do that again. I will never feel like I'm forcing a friendship or a relationship again, because I don't like how that feels. And I don't want anybody that's in my life to feel like I don't like them. So I'm always trying to be like, I'm always trying to be open and honest. And so whenever that time comes to where we need to have open dialogue about how we're feeling, I feel like I have set the standard of, you can come to me and share, because I have, you know, because I don't want to ever have to feel like that again. Because it's not a good feeling. But I feel like too, even in a relationship, like, I don't want to be with somebody who really doesn't like me. I don't want to build a friendship with somebody who doesn't like me. for me. Like if at any point I'm like joking too much, or I'm too excited about something or whatever, and the response that I get is like irritation or like, girl, shut up, or like, it just rubs me the wrong way. Cause like, why are you doing that? Why are you not happy for me? Not letting your friends be excited about things is weird. Not letting your friend be sad about things too is weird. Like, there was a moment in this same friendship that I mentioned earlier, where I was going through like a rough time, and the response was almost like, you don't have it that bad because this is what I'm going through. Like, let me feel my feelings, you know? I don't know. And I feel like this, I'm doing it again because I wanted to come on here and I wanted to make a point to flee from sin. And here we are talking about what friendship should look like. I don't know. And I think too, it's important to love your friends, because not just in relationships, but like in all the ships, in all the fam, all the ships, all the stuff. Everybody needs, like, because they talk about like relationships, like, oh, be his soft place to land. And it's like, I want to be my sibling's soft place to land. I want to be my friend's soft place to land. And I want to be able to have that same, I mean, you can't expect you from everybody, but you can set the example of, this is how I want to be treated. And so, I mean, that also comes with boundaries. So you can't just be letting anybody land on you, you know, because sometimes it's a crash landing, but you can't. But like, I'm gonna end this here. Hey, yo, I'm gonna end this